So this lady calls me on Thursday, and I don't call her back because I have been so busy.
YouTube clips and YouTube videos by you. I live in Phoenix, Arizona, and I'd like to sell my house. Please give me a call back at this number.
Time kills all deals. I haven't talked to her, I haven't called her in 5 days.
Your call has been forwarded to voicemail. The person you're trying to reach is not available. At the tone, please record your message. When you have finished recording, you may hang up.
Hi Cheryl, this is Pace Morby. I'm just getting around to being back in town and catching up on all my messages. Give me a call back on my cell phone number. Thank you so much. So quick lesson here is I lost out on this opportunity, highly likely, because I didn't pick up the phone. And you have to pick up the phone. Time kills all deals is one of the most important things ever. I didn't pick up the phone because I have a regular flow. There's a couple of different ways I buy deals. So first way is my SubTo community. My students bring me deals and I buy deals with them or from them. Get a lot of my deals this way. Probably 70 to 80% of my deals come from that. And then I have my own acquisition department, primarily focusing on larger multifamily. So we have Bo, and he has acquired, 200 units just from Bo. So if somebody calls me off of YouTube, this is the result of what happens, right? They don't call into my system. I take 4 to 5 days to call her back. And what do you think happens to that lead? That lead's dead, right? What she did is this lady who found me on YouTube, she then goes and probably calls 10 other people. She has some sort of pain that she's going through, you can tell. Like she would not, people do not call you to sell their house unless they're going through something. And I knew the lady called me. I told Eric today, I said, hey, let's make a YouTube video and call this lady back. In fact, we should try and call her again. Come on, Cheryl, come on, Cheryl, come on, Cheryl, come on, Cheryl, let's go. Hung up on me, perfect. Hi, is this Cheryl?
It certainly is. I thought you were going to text me before you called.
I did text you, but I texted you after I called. I'm so sorry.
Forgiven.
So tell me what's going on. What do you got going? What do you have happening with the house?
I have a house. I have a friend that is a realtor, broker, all of that. Talked with her about selling the house. Sent me some papers. Haven't signed them yet. Saw you on YouTube and whatnot. And I thought, well, let me check this out.
Okay, cool. So
that's where we're at.
I doubt you want to go with me.
They're not better than me.
Of course not.
Who are they?
They're nobody.
What about me?
What about you?
Why them? Why not me?
Why not you?
I'm just as good as them.
Better.
Yeah, you really think so?
No.
If you had the thought process of going with an agent, I would assume that an agent is probably a better fit for you. Are you in any sort of like rush to sell the house?
I wouldn't mind selling it sooner than later.
Well, when you sell the house, where are you going? What are you doing?
Well, I'm looking to actually kind of bop around a little bit, leave the country actually for a while and just kind of travel and see friends and whatnot that are
good for you.
Away.
Okay.
My parents, yeah, I'd like to do that. My parents are older, so I'm not here a lot. I've been Airbnb-ing my house. I come back in to kind of do a little bit of maintenance.
Okay. What is do you have a price you're trying to sell it for?
What I worked out with, again, I haven't signed any papers or anything, but what I worked out with my friend was like $410.
Okay, $410. And how much do you owe in the house?
I owe $250.
Okay, so I can already tell you I'm not a good fit for you. And I'll tell you why. Now you can always come back to me maybe after you list the property and see what happens. But usually people come back to me after their agent was not able to get them the number that they wanted.
Okay.
So your agent is gonna say 410. I'm gonna pull out my magic 8-ball and tell you what's gonna really happen. I don't even have the address, so this has nothing to do with your house, okay?
Okay.
Your agent probably is a good person, but they're not gonna actually list the property for what they think it's gonna sell for. They're gonna list it for a little bit higher. They probably even told you that. They are going to hope people come in and give you an offer. Right now, it is a buyer's market, not a seller's market.
Okay.
Why? Because there actually is a lot of inventory. In fact, there's something called expired listings happening every day. Do you know what an expired listing is?
One that they couldn't sell in the time frame that you signed for.
Right, so 6 months. So right now, about 40 houses a day in Maricopa County fail to sell on the market after being on the market for 6 months. So when people tell you, hey, I can sell this house for you, well, 40 houses a day, right? 40 houses a day, that's 1,200 houses a month, are not selling, and they've been on the market for 6 months with an agent who listed them at 410 and then lowered it to 390 and then lowered it to 370 and all of that kind of stuff. So my main business model is I actually call the sellers after the agent has failed to sell the house. Why? Well, because I'm not a real estate agent, and if you want the highest price possible for your house, the best answer is always to sell your house to a family who's gonna move in there, right? Not an investor. Or you can sell your house to an investor that will buy it and make payments to you and give you the 410. But I'm going to guess that you want, so you have a $250,000 mortgage. I actually find that valuable. I would want that $250,000 mortgage so I don't have to go to the bank and get a loan, because right now going to the bank and getting a loan would require me to get an 8% interest rate, which would kill the deal. Right? So what I would do is I'd say, hey, Cheryl, if your agent can't sell the house, why don't you just let me take over your $250,000 mortgage? I'll make those payments. Why don't you let me give you like $20,000 down payment on your equity, and then I'll make a monthly payment to you on your equity. That's typically 99% of what I do with sellers that I work with.
Okay.
And why would they do that with me? Well, they do that with me because they have a very specific number they have in their mind of, I think my house is worth 410, and if I go with an agent, I'm gonna guess, I don't know the exact numbers, nobody does, but let's say you do sell the house for 410, right? Are you going to receive $410,000 even if you get an offer at $410,000?
No.
No, it's gonna cost you anywhere between 8 to 10% to sell your house. Why? Because your buyer is gonna ask for concessions, and they're gonna ask you to do some minor repairs, and guess what? You're gonna have to pay their agent and you're gonna have to pay your agent because you're the seller. You pay both agents, right? So let's say it's 10%. That means you're gonna have $41,000 in costs to sell your house, not including the payments that you're making along the way.
Okay.
So that number now has taken you down. All of a sudden, you're at $370,000 instead of the 410, right? Okay. Well, now you pay that mortgage payment off, that $250,000, and you walk away with about $120,000 before, you take out the payments and stuff you made during your listing. Cool. What if somebody like me could say, hey, Cheryl, you could go 120 with a real estate agent, and that's going to take you 3 to 9 months to get that 120. Or B, you could come with me and I'll give you $160,000 of your equity, but I want to do it in chunks of money instead of all of it all up front at the same time. Now, does that work for your situation? I don't know, but that's my main business model. So I give you the number that you're shooting for, and then you give me terms, which means the ability to make payments to you over time.
Can I give you some more specifics?
Yeah,
And then maybe you come up with a real number.
sure. Why wouldn't you just list with an agent? What repulses you about going with an agent? Maybe that's a too strong of a word.
No, it doesn't repulse me because, again, Mary's a friend of mine. I've already called them, and I've already, and I have the papers, and all I need to do is sign the papers, and then we're in business together. And I've got to pay them, like you said. I'm going to have to pay them, and the deal is going to have to go a certain way, at least, like you said, for the next 6 months. Here's what I'm thinking. The $250 is not really a single mortgage. The $250 is, I owe like less than $120,000 on a mortgage. I'm just going to spill it. I owe less than $120,000 on a mortgage that I'm like a little bit behind on.
Okay, got
Like
it.
about 3 months. I've got a HELOC that I'm a little bit behind on.
Okay.
That's at like 150 150. We're close to 150 right now. So what I need is to take care of those.
Okay.
And I would love to walk away with some cash. That's what I need.
Okay, that's easy. So now that you're giving me more information, I appreciate that, thank you. Okay, so how far behind are we on the payments? Ballpark.
I'm
10 grand?
I think, yeah.
Okay, 10 grand, somewhere around there. Okay, cool. Do you know how many golf clubs a golf player shoots with or like plays with?
No, I know there's a bunch of them in the bag.
Okay, there's 14 in the bag, okay?
Okay.
Does it make sense for a professional golfer to putt their ball using the big driver that they tee off with?
I'm sure they don't need it for everything.
Right.
There's probably a reason there's 14 different.
There you go. So my point is that your agent is basically playing the game of real estate with one tool in their bag. And the only tool they have in their bag is listing the property. They don't have any other solution for you. And here's what I look at.
Right. Yeah.
Here's
They've already asked me to do some things. Yeah.
Right, and you know what they want you to do? They want you to clean up some stuff on the house to get it list ready. Is that correct?
Yep.
Okay. Typical agents. Mary sounds awesome, but I'm telling you, real estate agents, you want to know a really interesting statistic?
Please.
70% of real estate agents do not own their own home.
Oh, okay.
Okay? 87% of them have never bought a single investment property in their life. So real estate agents are not real estate investors, and they don't understand anything other than putting a stick in the yard and trying to get a commission, okay? And here's why I'm saying this. You are behind on your payments. So what does that mean? It means that you have a problem that you will have for a significant amount of time. What happens in 2 years when you want to go buy a house? Are they not going to pull up the fact that you were in pre-foreclosure or that you were late on your payments is not going to be a problem in the future for you?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's going to be on my record. Yeah.
How does listing a property with an agent solve that problem? It doesn't. Working with somebody like me I have actually a new idea. I'm going to throw a new idea at you because now I understand what's really going on. Here's a thought process. Let's say I go and catch up the $10,000 in payments. Guess what you now have? You have a mortgage. You have two mortgages, right? You have a HELOC and you have an underlying mortgage. One at 120 and one at 150, right?
Right.
What if I catch up the payments? Now the mortgage payments are being paid on time. Let's say I pay the next month's payments and I pay the next month's payments. What happens to your credit now? One, we get rid of the late payments. We go and attack them. We write letters. We get rid of those late payments. But more importantly, every single month you have now mortgages that are reporting in good standing, rebuilding your credit. If you sell these houses and you go and try and buy another house in 24 months, your lender is going to say, I'm sorry, you have late payments on your mortgage statements from previously. We can't give you a loan.
Right.
Listing with an agent is going to create a larger problem for you for a longer period of time, way beyond it's going to take them a while to sell the house. So I'm just going to give you some food for thought. Here's another idea, okay?
Okay.
Imagine if you and I partnered on this house, okay? You don't like this house. There's a lot of pain. There's anguish. Somebody took advantage of you. You have bad memories on this house, and you're just like, you know what? I don't want to deal with this house anymore. Screw this house, right? To a certain degree. I understand there's some value there. I totally get that. What if I come in, I pay the $10,000, I get the property up and going into like a pad split situation like what we talked about. Now, of course, like maybe I'd meet you in person, I'd draw it out on a whiteboard, I'd show you exactly how it works, you'd be able to review the paperwork, like all that kind of stuff. Let's assume that happens. I pay the $10,000, we catch up the thing, I put a little bit of money in your pocket today so you can go travel around, and we just partner on the house. We keep the mortgages, we keep making the payments, and we just fill the property with tenants, and you and I split the cash flow. Like, why would you want to get rid of this property if we could fix it and make it cash flow all year round and it can rebuild your credit?
Because that's the whole point. What I really want is the cash flow. I mean, you know what I'm saying? What I really want is, and I was hoping to have the cash flow to take care of the expenses. Right, and a little bit more, but that's not working out. So.
Well, Airbnb sucks. In fact, I want to put a T-shirt and wear it around on my YouTube videos and tell people like, because it's just
But you got the peace sign 9 on your cap, so don't get rid of that.
I won't get rid of that. But now you can get your mortgages caught up. You can get a little bit of money in your pocket. You get a professional team that's managing the property, and the property is going to grow in value, which is where I would make my money. I would make my money not pulling money out of your pocket, but I would make my money by improving the property and getting the cash flow coming in on the property. So I basically am like a performance-based investor, if that makes sense.
Yes.
So it's just another thought. Either A, you could list the property. B, you could sell the property to me and I go do all of that on my own, and I, catch up your mortgage payments, I put some money in your pocket, and then in a year or 24 months, I give you the rest of your equity. That's option B. Option C would be, why don't we just partner and you can stay in on the cash flow? Lot to think about.